welcome our council members, welcome our cherished delegates from the Canada-Ghana High Commission, and also welcome our Platinum and Gold members. We're here today to just start the year off with a breakfast meeting where we would also have the chance to interact and find out the kind of plans we have for the year, and also interact and see how best we can also work and collaborate with valued members and see how best we can promote business and grow the chamber. So starting off the breakfast meeting, we would like to welcome the President of the Canada-Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Jonathan Hane, and he will be giving.
Good morning to you all, and Happy New Year. It's a pleasure this morning to be here. And, the Acting High Commissioner, Sarah, the Senior Trade Commissioner, Carlos, Council members, fellow Cancham members, good morning to you. We are happy to be here this morning again to share and at least dialogue together and see the way forward as to how best we can promote bilateral trade between Canada and Ghana. Myself and of course the rest of the executives, just a few months into this year will be exactly about 2 years that we took over the mantle to lead this chamber. And together with the council, we decided to put in some initiatives where we decided that we're going to look at prioritizing certain sectors that we were going to promote between Ghana and Canada. One of those were the areas of agriculture, and we had significant and interesting events, I think in 2008, where the Minister for Agriculture from the government of Alberta was here in Ghana, and we had interesting sessions in Kumasi, and there were lots of ideas that were shared, and we could see potentially that Ghana and Canada have a real opportunity to do things in that sector. Last year, in June 2019, we put together an event which was to actually take Ghanaian companies to go to Canada and Calgary for the first oil and gas summit, basically GPS. GPS is a very, I always call it the boutique version of the OTC that is often held in Houston. It was such a great event. We managed to put together about 50 Ghanaian delegates to attend this conference with members of parliament. We had a minister from the Western region, and actually it was a big news in Calgary about the Ghanaian delegation. I remember I was sharing a hotel with a team from Nigeria, and they were very excited about our initiative because a few of them had come from the Nigerian oil company, and they were like, how could Ghanaians be so smarter to start doing things like this? So we need to make sure that we replicate the same model. GPS actually exposed a lot of opportunities for several sectors of our oil and gas economy. We had people from the Ministry of Energy, we had people from the Regulatory Authority, National Petroleum Authority, and they were able to strike some sort of institutional collaboration between certain sectors of the oil and gas companies in Ghana. I'd like to say that, first of all, we're here today because in a few months, our team will be obviously handing over the mantle of leadership to another set of people. And I believe that the council will be reaching out to some of you who are members to come on board and support. Of course, this is a very voluntary and very dedicated work. It brings in a lot of, it brings out a lot of your energy and your time, but it also brings out a lot of commitment to ensure that our two countries start to benefit. One thing I must say is that I want to thank most of you for being supportive of all the initiatives of the Chamber. Mostly, I mean, some of you in the financial sector, you've been around to support us in many initiatives. The High Commissioner has been very, very supportive, and I want to thank Carlos and Peter, and of course, Sarah and the rest of the team for many of the initiatives that we have held as a Chamber. I want to say in conclusion that I believe that there is a lot of traction in terms of Canadian companies showing a lot of interest. A few days ago, I remember receiving an email from a global chamber that is responsible for coordinating investment opportunities in the continent of Africa, intending to stage one of their big events in Ghana, collaborating with the chamber sometime this April. And this is a great thing for our businesses. But one of the things I want to say is that I think it's a two-way thing, which is we really have to work very hard to be able to ensure that we attract the right companies to ourselves so that we can take advantage of all the opportunities that we have. On this note, I would like to say that a very big thank you to the council for all the support they've given us, and of course for most of you for all the support that you've given all these 2 years that we've been serving the chamber. It doesn't mean we're going away and not be part of the chamber. We'll still be available to support the chamber in diverse ways. And I want to also say that I believe this year we'll be having GPS again, and obviously Kobe, the executive secretary, will be reaching out to some of you who will be interested in going to GPS. I mean, there are so many opportunities in different sectors of the economy that people would actually take advantage of. So on this note, I would say a big thank you again, and welcome for this event, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, would like to invite Acting High Commissioner to Canada, Sarah Nichols.
Distinguished council members, dear friends of Canada, it's an honor to meet many of you for the first time and to learn so much about such a vibrant chamber, a network of over 100 Ghanaian and Canadian businesses. I know that those that have come before me, I'm thinking of Ms. Heather Cameron, they have been very interested in the efforts of the chamber, and I thank you for your efforts. I look forward to more opportunities to interact with your growing membership and to get to know you better. Ghana is Canada's 4th largest regional export market. The total bilateral trade in 2018 amounted to $341.7 million. Mining investment is several billion dollars here in Ghana, and several Canadian companies have an active presence. Our two countries are accomplishing many great things together, but there is still more that we can do to promote further trade, bilateral investments, and development. I want to assure you that the High Commission remains fully committed to support the Chamber in trade promotion activities, business-to-business connections, and enhancing close people-to-people ties. The commercial team is there to provide you with the necessary information to facilitate trade and business projects with Canada. Please do not hesitate to contact them. Carlos and his team will share some ideas for the coming year where the High Commission and the Chamber consider collaborating. You will be able to promote business partnerships among yourselves, even as you look for business opportunities in Canada. It's that collaboration that is the secret sauce. I look forward to hearing about collaborative business success stories between Canadian companies and members in the Chamber to promote mutual benefits, including technology transfers, stimulation of competition and innovation, increased specialization, expansion of trade, and improvement in productivity and performance. I thank you so much for inviting me here. This has been such an important opportunity for me to connect with you and put faces to names that Carlos is talking about all the time, so he is working on your behalf, I assure you. So thank you so much, Madasi, and enjoy your breakfast.
I'll say just a few words about our team, and we also have a distinguished colleague from our embassy in Ouagadougou. So first of all, since he unfortunately has to leave early, I wanted to introduce Mamadou Ouattara. He's a trade commissioner. He's a fellow trade commissioner at the Canadian Embassy in Ouagadougou, and he has responsibility for our trade relations between Canada and Burkina Faso, but also Canada and Benin. So I know some of you are very active in the region, so I thought it would be a good idea for him to come, and if one of you is interested, please have a word with him before he runs away to deal with some urgent issues at the High Commission. And then of course, I have Peter Fiamore, whom you know, and Peter covers several sectors, because we are a small team, you understand. And then we have Kathleen Afo. Kathleen Afo, you should know she got a promotion very recently. Yeah, she's now working with 2 different sections within the High Commission, but she's also responsible for some sectors, very key for some of you, and she will share some of our ideas for the coming year. So, I just wanted to give you a little bit overview. We're a small team, as I said, and Canada is a well-developed country. However, not all Canadian companies are active everywhere. So our interests as from the Canadian point of view, of course, we want to promote trade in all sectors, investment, incoming from Canada, outgoing to Canada, of course. But the reality is that there are only a few sectors where we have a strong Canadian presence here. So the one that comes to mind is obviously mining. So we have several producers and several exploration companies, and therefore that's why we always have a strong presence of several chamber members going to PIDA, which is a very large trade show happening every year in Toronto, and it's coming up very soon. So it's one of them. I'm looking at you, but you already have your visa, that's great. But if some of you want to go to PIDA, now is the time to think about it. And if you have any questions, don't ask me, ask Peter. Okay? He knows everything about PIDA. And this year, 2 of your members are working with the High Commission, and we're organizing a special series of meetings for these 2 members. Okay? So keep that in mind if you're going for Global Petroleum Show. Jonathan mentioned that. So again, because it's a lot of work, so I give it to you. I know there are several Canadian institutions interested in the sector here, and there's a great need, of course, especially in the technical and vocational sectors. Several Canadian institutions are already present in Ghana, and several are more interested because they know it's a growing economy with a lot of needs for specialized training. I know you have a lot of university graduates. I see a lot of them right here, but you also need a lot of welders, a lot of mechanics, a lot of specialists, and those are the people that perhaps we can help you with. Oil and gas, infrastructure, engineering, education, mining, finance. So those are some of the sectors that we know from what Canadian clients are asking, that are interested in looking towards Ghana and the region. And I should say, Ghana as a entry into the region, because obviously you're lucky in having a well-organized, well-functioning structures and ports that allow Canadians to be the minimal assurance that they can do business in an organized and predictable manner, which is a great advantage in anywhere in the world, but especially in developing countries. Again, your government has done a really good job in attracting the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. This is one of my main objectives for this coming year. So I will be asking some of you for help if you have contacts at this growing institution. So that will be part of my work this coming year. We have probably an incoming company. We're talking about blended finance. This is in planning. We thought if members are interested, we could offer a session about how to do business in Canada. We could tell you about some. Obviously, you know about it a lot, but maybe some of your more junior employees may be interested in how to do business in Canada, about the practicalities, sources of information, how cold it gets in the winter. Very cold. FIPA, Canada and Ghana are negotiating an investment agreement. Okay, so again, it's not for everyone, but maybe at one point I will call upon some of you to perhaps have some exchange of ideas there. Investment forum. This is a plan. It may not happen, but at some point, again, I will need your support and maybe your participation if we're organizing some sort of event, either here or in Canada, to attract investment into Ghana. Of course, also I'll be working with Ghanaian counterparts. One of the things that we're trying to do this year is to collaborate more with other sections within the Canadian High Commission, particularly with the development section. As Ghana, quite correctly, I think, government of Ghana is moving towards Ghana Beyond Aid, which is a normal development, since Ghana is progressing from a low income to a middle income, and hopefully very soon to higher income country, then naturally the economy becomes more sophisticated with more wealth, and we need to position ourselves in this developing economy, and so do our colleagues from the development section, and we are going to be working more closely with them. I have an idea, no obligation, but Sarah and I, we've been talking about perhaps tapping into the very large group of Ghanaian who are Canadian alumni. So I keep running into Ghanaians in all sorts of walks of life, government, finance, companies, former army that are here, and we realize that we are not doing a great job of liaising and networking with these valuable people, very active members of the economy and the government of Ghana. So we thought perhaps this year to start a yearly event working around the Ghanaians that are going to Canada. So late in the summer, so maybe or early in August, something like this. It's just an idea. Sarah will kindly host an event, if she says yes, of course, at the OR, where we would see off the Ghanaians going to Canada and pair them with Ghanaians who've already been to Canada to do a bit of a mentorship. And that's where your participation, I mean, it's just an idea, no obligation, of course. Perhaps the chamber could sponsor one of these students and create a year. It doesn't have to be $100,000, of course not, but a small amount that would help perhaps a very good student to study in Canada. Since Jonathan and I, it's my fault. It's not his fault. If you think this is a bad idea, it's my fault. If it's a good idea, it was his. So we thought that perhaps some Ghanaian, some bright Ghanaian, and maybe perhaps some bright Ghanaian young woman going to study in Canada could get a half scholarship or some sort of help in one of the sectors that interest you. Perhaps someone studying business, since you're a business chambers, perhaps someone studying in a non-traditional sector. I leave it up to you. It's just an idea that I throw out.
For this year, we are looking to work with the West African Mining and Power Expo. It's taking place in June 3 to 5, and we are hoping to do two main activities as part of the bigger WAMPOC program, focusing on CSR. And CSR, looking at CSR activities that are linked to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We have one of our experts who's been working in Ghana, Wayne Dan. Some of you may already know him, who we are hoping to collaborate with. And that will be one activity that will be embedded within WAMPOC. Another one we are looking at, which Carlos again referred to, is the Canadian capabilities in the clean tech sector. Clean tech cuts across not just the power sector, but also the mining area. We are hoping to bring some Canadian capability, Canadian companies that have capabilities in this area to speak to the delegates that will be coming for WAMPOC. So that's one area that we want the premium members of the chamber to be aware of. Those who have worked in the mining sector and power energy sector. This is one thing that we want to bring to your attention. We will actually share the concept with the president of the chamber and the executive secretary. We are asking for sponsorship. So it's a big event and it's going to cost some money. We would appreciate some sponsorship from the chamber at some point. So we will try to have some discussions on that with the president and the members. The other thing which the president of the chamber already mentioned is the Global Petroleum Show, which again we have highlighted as one of our activities for this fiscal year. For this year, we are going strategically at targeted B2B meetings. Last year, because it was the first time, we wanted to make Ghana on the map. So we went all out, and we had a number of good companies with that, some not so good. But this time around, we want to be more targeted, and if we want to have quality members going with us, because you're going to meet counterparts there who want to who are international players and we want quality companies meeting them to discuss opportunities in this country. So we will appreciate working with you, those who are interested in the oil and gas sector, and seeing what your interests are, what the opportunities you're looking for. We will help you find relevant suppliers, products, and service providers from Canada. We will help you to arrange your B2Bs. This is the service that we can also offer to the chamber to make sure that you'll be able to have productive meetings whilst we are in GPS. So these are the two things that are related to my sector that I think we should be all aware of whilst we plan our activities for the year. Thank you.
I have quite a number of things, but I'm just going to give you 2 events that I think that the chamber can take advantage of to meet Canadian companies coming in or to benefit from Canadian expertise and, you know, grow your companies and your network. So first is the Africa Energy Forum. Let me also include that I am currently in charge of the clean tech sector as well as the education sector. So please do not be surprised that these initiatives are focused in these areas. So in the clean tech or renewable energy sector, there's the Africa Energy Forum, which is happening in Barcelona. Last year it happened in Lisbon. It's a forum to bring together energy companies. So talk about renewable energy, talk about hydro, you talk about solar, you also talk about battery storage. These are key sectors that Canada has a wealth of experience and expertise in. So we're looking for opportunities to put Canadian companies in these sectors in touch with Ghanaian companies who are operating in this area and looking to partner to initiate projects and to work just to develop themselves in terms of technical and vocational training. The second initiative I wish to highlight for you, Carlos has already done it partly, is that in the education sector, we're looking to have a pre-departure session for students who are going to study in Canada during the fall. As Carlos just highlighted, it may be an opportunity for the chamber to, you know, highlight your interest in the education sector. If you're able to offer a scholarship of sorts to one of the best students that come up, as Carlos said, it will be an opportunity also to link the ever-growing number of Ghanaian Canadian alumni in Ghana to get this network going and leverage this to grow the chamber also. So these are the 2 initiatives I wish to bring to your attention. I am ever available. Do feel free to reach myself, Carlos, Peter, any of the members of the High Commission, and 2020 will be our year to help go to new levels. Thank you very much.
My name is Cancham, a proud member of the chamber. In reference to Carlos' issue on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, I think it's in the right direction. But what we must do is to try to prepare our members and also to try and link, especially SMEs from Canada and Ghana, because the AFTA presents a beehive of opportunities and potential, and it will be good for Canadian companies to come partner with us, set up industries, set up businesses, for us to be able to take advantage of this. I think when it comes into effect in June, it will be the largest free trade area in the world. and more than trillions of dollars in revenue. So what I would urge is maybe some of us, our companies, are small, medium enterprises. We might not be able to, at this point in time, partner with larger companies from Canada. So it will be imperative for us to, because the indication we are having is that Ghana is not among the countries that is preparing its private sector to take advantage when it takes off. All we seem to be happy about is that we are hosting the Secretariat. But it can't be that opportunities can pass us by, so we have to prepare. Secondly, the idea of supporting a student to go to Canada, brilliant but needy, is laudable, but I also feel that in a year of return, or beyond the year of return, why don't we also look at how we can support Canadian Ghanaians who have gone to Canada to study, encourage them to come back home so that we can get these mentors who are already here, who are Canadian alumni, to be able to mentor them while they're in Ghana, to set up industries as young entrepreneurs, because the job opportunities are not available. And there are enormous opportunities for the creation of enterprises for us to take care of. So instead of, that's also my idea, since it's also your idea, to see how best maybe we can help them. When they return, encourage them. It's happening, the British Ghanaians in the UK, just on Monday, the UK Africa Investment Summit, you will see many of the Ghanaians, young Ghanaians who are going to study are enthusiastic and want to come back home in the US. So let's also encourage that with the young Ghanaians who go to Canada to come back and get the many alumni here to help them, mentor them to become future captains of industry. Thank you very much.
My name is Josephine from IPMC. I want to comment briefly on what Kathleen said with regards to the education. So there's a young innovator and engineer from Sierra Leone called Kelvin Doe, and I want to reaffirm IPMC's commitment towards this particular initiative we want to start. So last 2 years, we fully funded his education in University of Ontario, where he's doing a diploma. He's currently looking forward to going to University of Waterloo to do management engineering programming. So for us as IPMC, it's something that we'll be very, very keen and interested in. For now, he's going to study data analytics, evidence-based thinking. So Kathleen, you can count on IPMC for that initiative as part of the Chamber's contribution. We'll be very happy to do that. Thank you. And we are in Canada now. IPMC has opened in Canada. We are in Kelowna, yes.
About my idea, I thought I should have made it more obvious, but for me it's obvious that a bilateral Chamber of Commerce is a conduit for doing business between both countries, and obviously foremost in my mind is the fact that you are potential partners for Canadian companies doing business here, and not only in Ghana, but for the whole region. And you're very lucky that you will have a real continental free trade agreement. Eventually, you and other competitors and friends from other countries will also have this idea. So and I thank you for pointing this out, I should have made it more clear. Yes, that is exactly what we were thinking about, partnering between Canadian companies and well-connected local in this case, Ghanaian, to go out into the larger continent. So thank you very much for, this is exactly what we are looking for. Obviously, you have to think about a Canadian company coming from Canada, and they don't know you like you don't know them. So you have to think due diligence, exchanging of information. We can help you there, but then business to business connections have to be made directly. And Kathleen?
So the way it's going to work is, this is just a pre-departure event. So that's what we call, so that's the name of the event. But at this event, we're bringing alumni. So let's consider these alumni people who have the experience of having lived in Canada. You're putting these people together with people who are now going to study in Canada, who may not even know what it takes, what trades they should use, what are the tidbits of information that will be useful to them. So in a way, it's also a networking event, help grow your network of Canadian alumni who hopefully you would still stay in touch with whilst you're outside in Canada. So mentoring is definitely an inclusive part of this. We may not have mentioned it, but we definitely intend to capture it during the events.
And one of the things that we thought, and was mentioned to Salah earlier, is that in this event, hopefully, you as chamber members will get to meet some very bright Ghanaians that will be going to Canada and getting highly trained and then coming back. Just saying, maybe some of them will become members of the chamber and some of them will become maybe employees and future partners with you. That's my idea, more long term. So our idea is to make this a yearly recurrent event.
And actually this alumni event, I think Al-Haji Abdullah, we did this about 12-15 years ago. So it was a movement for networking among alumni. So I think it's a good idea, we can do it now. And Pabna, I will volunteer and host them at Silversat Tower. So when you want to launch it, we can do it at Silversat Tower. And just a bit on a side joke, I hope to do one day to do an ice rink. So I'll also invite them to my ice rink so that they can experience Canadian weather. Okay, but a more serious one, I'm also on the real estate side. So I want to challenge our green technology lady, Kathy, that we all do septic tanks in Ghana, but we have to go beyond the septic tank and do mini sewage treatment plant. So can we find a solution where we have a $50,000 or $100,000 mini sewage treatment plant, not the $1 million and $10 million one. So that's the challenge. I throw it to the chamber or to the embassy. Thank you very much.
It's Nina Basnani from Cancham. I'm really excited about all the activities that the chamber has for this year 2020. I would like to talk particularly about the GPS because everyone knows that I'm passionate about that. It's a very good platform for companies to be able to take their companies to another level in the oil and gas sector. I would like to see more local companies forming joint ventures with Canadian companies to bring their expertise, technology transfer, best practices. And if you look at even the joint ventures that we currently have in Ghana, most of them are UK companies and US companies. So I urge all of you to take advantage of the GPS conference and attend, do the B2B meetings, and take your company to another level, create awareness of what you do, and form new partnerships with Canadian companies. I also wanted to share one success story coming out of GPS last year. One company that has formed a joint venture with one of our affiliate companies and is working very well. They're about to win a major contract with one of the oil and gas companies here. So there are success stories that come out of some of these conferences. So I'm just urging all of you to take advantage of it and take your companies to a new level. Thank you very much.
This year, what we're looking forward to do is to try and have a committee that will be set up to try to arrange the whole process because it's very involving. And I want to say that one of the things I would like to advise some of you members of the chamber is that even though it's an energy and oil and gas sector, sector-related event, sometimes if you're in the service sector, providing some kind of service, it's worth giving these sort of events your attention because you'll be interested to know that there are companies that are probably looking for maybe a law firm or an accounting firm or some sort of collaboration to do something. And once you ensure yourself present, it helps a lot. So it's not just only the core operational areas that your business is in, but it will be very great advantage and do business. And do take good advantage of the B2B, because you will find out that when you are there, there are a lot of major engagements that happen that will be of great value. So that's just a and finally, it's an event that requires you to go through a lot of validation process in terms of visa, getting so many things done. So if you have an interest in being part of it, you have to actually put your foot forward quite early so that you can go through the process.
Last year it was a great success, but we also, from our point of view, we heard about some challenges, for example, with bureaucratic matters, let me put it this way. So we'll work with you early to make sure that these are minimized and that it goes as flawlessly as possible. And Peter will put together maybe an information session for all of you to give you more of the practical terms. And to reinforce something that is very important, not only in the oil and gas, but I'm more familiar with the mining sector. People say, oh, mining companies, so you count them in Canada, we have a few dozen of them. Oh, we're very proud of them. But we have several hundred juniors and several thousand companies doing the supply. And that's not even people that count themselves as suppliers to the mining sector, but then that's not even counting the lawyers, the accountants, the analysts, the journalists, the professors, the teachers, everyone that gravitates around that area. And I was talking with one of your members, she's active in CSR, for example, mining. They're service providers there. So, Jonathan, your point is right on the thought. It's exactly very, very appropriate. In any of these large sectors have a much larger environment of service providers.
So on behalf of the Secretariat, I would like to humbly thank everyone for being here, for taking time off their busy schedules to be here. And I would like to say 2020 is going to be a good year. Welcome to 2020 with us. And I thank you all again, and let's have a blessed year. Thank you very much.